Hello there viewers, today I'm going to show you my dual wield alternative to the popular Scorn speedrun build. A few aspects are pretty much the same, but I'll show you the reasons why I've chosen to go with this build and some advantages of this build, and as opposed to if you don't like the Scorn build. So basically I'll just go through my armour and gear just to show people who aren't that advanced with the monk character. I'll just give you some advice and some basics. So people who are already experienced monks, you can skip to later on in the video where I will just be showing you a couple of the runs with this build and showing you how effective it actually is as opposed to the Scorn build. So basically I'll just quickly look through them. The inner's set pieces are pretty much a necessity for the monk build. They bring a lot in terms of the set bonuses. You should either go for the 2 set bonus of 100 dexterity, which is what I've got, or the third one's not that important, but it does help if you want to just constantly be able to use Tempest Rush. And the 4th set bonus is really good with the reduced resource cost of the Sweeping Wind, because that can just drain your spirit very quick if you can't manage to keep it up all the time. So yeah, basically them two right there are pretty much mandatory. The Weild is another obvious choice with the high resistances, high dexterity, high armour. Probably get one with vitality, which would be better, but to be fair, the monks don't really rely that much on high HP. As you can see, I've only got 24k, and when I change a few skills around, I can quite comfortably do high MPs of monster power difficulty 8 and 7. I'm quite comfortable with, rarely die, even with low HP, but that goes along with I've got decent life on hit and life steal. I'll carry on looking through my gear now. Majority of it's not really that expensive to buy. It's a lot of standard stuff really. I need to probably upgrade a few things. The Hellfire Ring's a necessity for this as well, and so is a helmet with a socket, just so you can get the increased bonus experience. So yeah, I've gone for the Witching Hour and Blackthorn Jousting male legs instead of the Inner's legs and belt, purely just because of the fact that the Witching Hour offers attack speed and critical hit damage, whereas the Inner's belt I believe only offers 1 critical hit chance, which isn't that useful in my eyes. And yeah, the Blackthorn legs have decent life, 94 vitality and 12% plus life, decent dexterity, good life on hit, and magic find. That's pretty obvious. The Natalia's set, majority of monks will go for the Natalia's the boots and the ring purely for the critical hit chance. Makes a big difference. So I recommend getting that, and the movement speed on the boots helps a lot too, in increasing your speed. So the main thing with the dual wield weapons is, I prefer the Shenlong Relentless Assault to a lot of other things, mainly because it comes with a high life on hit, comes with high dexterity as well. Can be quite expensive getting a high damage and with a socket and decent other stats. Mine isn't too expensive. I can't remember how much I spent on mine, about 20 mil plus. But I'm not rich, so I can't spend that much on it. And the other weapon I've got, instead of going for this set, I've gone for the Wand Kim Lao, mainly because it adds lightning skills deal 21% more damage, which is very important for the build that I'm using. I'll show you why. Because the sweeping wind, the cyclones that you emit from critical hits, are lightning damage. They deal lightning damage. So every cyclone you now emit adds another 21% damage, which is quite a lot. And as well, it's got the life steal, which is very, very helpful, and another socket with critical hit damage increased. I'll show you like the stats that go with it. Got really good attacks per second, which really help with because my critical hit chance is fairly good. It allows for a lot of tornadoes to be pumped out while I'm attacking enemies. Whereas say if you've got the Scorn, even if you have got high critical hit chance, you're not going to be emitting that many cyclones, and the cyclones damage does add up a lot. As you can see, like my damage on here is only 91,000. Well, let's say 105,000 with the Breath of Heaven, which is pretty much a constant buff that you should always have on if you're using that skill anyway. But yeah, it's quite low damage on here, but I don't think it's an accurate representation of the actual power of the monk, because there's quite a few hidden things. The damage of the cyclones, that I'm constantly churning out, the extra damage added on with the Wonkin Lao, and as well, if you're going for the Mantra of Conviction submission, it adds another 26% damage per second as well as an area of effect skill. So there's quite a lot of things that are like hidden damage with the monk. But yeah, and that's it really. I'll just run through my skills now and explain the reason behind them. Some of the skills are obvious. Yeah, the Fist of Thunder, Thunderclap is the most obvious choice for this build, as well as Tempest Rush, Tailwind. Don't really need to explain them. Fist of Thunder, Thunderclap teleports you to the target, making it fast attacks and just constantly teleporting around quickly to your enemies, which is very useful with the dual wield and high attack speed, because that allows you to just quickly fly around the place, as opposed to with the Scorn, you slow attacks, prevent you from just constantly teleporting around. But then you use the Tempest Rush anyway, so they kind of balance each other out. I use the Tempest Rush on this mainly just to in between big groups of enemies, when there's no enemies for a couple of seconds, I'll just use a Tempest Rush to catch up to some more enemies quicker. So it makes the runs a lot smoother and quicker overall. I've gone for more of offensive because I'm on monster power difficulty 0, so I can go out all out attack, not need to worry about my armor or anything because my armor's pretty low at the minute. But yeah, if you choose to do higher monster power difficulty, if you fancy doing that, I don't recommend these skills. I'd rejig them around. I mean, there's many other skills that you can use to make yourself more defensive. I mean, I'd usually have Serenity instead of the Breath of Heaven, just so it's only like the 15% extra damage that you miss out on. But if you're in a sticky situation, say if you're just about to get frozen or anything, you can just whack on Serenity and get out of difficult situations quite quickly. But yeah, Blinding Flash is very useful for elite packs or just big groups of mobs, because it stuns everything and increases the damage by 30% for 3 seconds. It may not sound long, but it makes a big difference, as most of you will know. So yeah, Sweeping Wind Cyclone, I've already explained the advantages of having that, especially for a build with high crit chance, which is vital for the Cyclone, and high attack speed. And same, I've already mentioned about the submission on the Mantra of Conviction. I mean, you can change this to Overroar if you prefer. I just like the AoE, so I don't really have to concentrate on attacking everything that much. It automatically starts killing them for me. but I could use that. It doesn't really make that much of a difference. If you want more, some people like with the Scorn builds use this mantra of healing, the circular breathing, as it boosts the spirit regeneration by 3 spirit per second, which is makes quite a bit of difference. Allows you to basically have the Tempest Rush on permanently, so you're just running around all the time. That combined with the passive ability of Chant of Resonance, which increases the mantra 7 minutes and adds 2 spirit every second, so it makes you get 5 spirit every second with having the mantra up with circular breathing. But the passives I use the Fleet-footed, just because I don't generally use Tempest Rush that often. As I said before, it's mainly just to get in between big groups, group to group. It speeds up the time. So yeah, increases movement speed by 10. It's not a necessity, but it helps. It's nice to have. I also use Exalted Soul. I can either use like Exalted Soul or a number of other things. It's not that important for this particular build. It's better for the other builds, like the Scorn build can be more useful for that. You can either have the Exalted Soul or the Chance of Resonance with this build. Doesn't really matter either way. It's just nice to start up having 250 spirit and a bit more to the regeneration. And one with everything, that's just mandatory. Every monk pretty much has that, unless you are rich and can go out and buy armor and equipment with all resistance to everything. But yeah, one of the main passives I'll quickly mention for the Scorn build, which makes it so successful, is instead of say having Exalted Soul, they'll probably go for Guardian's Path, which makes a big difference. Once they've got a few of the spirit regenerators on the go, you have this on, and it says all spirit generation is increased by 35%, which I've tried it before with the Son of Jordan and the Scorn, and I've tried it all before, and it makes a big difference because you can just Tempest Rush constantly. But the only reason why I don't, stop using the Scorn build is because I just like the freedom and stuff you get with this build. It allows you, I can just, as I said earlier, I can go to monster power 5 farming like keys and stuff. Can do that easy, just need to change a couple of skills. And I can do monster power 7 and 8 quite comfortably as well for Ubers and general messing around. So yeah, it's quite, you can keep the gear and just change skills. And you can cope with the higher monster power difficulties without changing anything else. So yeah, that's it. After showing you all that, I'm now going to go on a couple of runs. I'll show you how much XP I've got at the start. Now I've got 18.5 million XP, and I'll show you how quickly it takes a run and how much XP I get from it. Usually I can get around 1 million XP per minute, which is quite similar to the Scorn Constant Tempest Rush build. So it's on par with that, but I just like doing this one because, as I said, whenever I'm bored of doing grinding XP, I can just flick some skills and change it to mix up to higher difficulties and stuff. But yeah, enough of me talking. I'll now probably stick some music on and do a couple of runs just to show you how an average of how much XP I actually gain from doing this. Okay.